Hi, welcome to Phil's Computer Lab. In this video I will be reviewing the 3DFX Voodoo 3 range of graphics cards. There's a lot to talk about. The 3DFX Voodoo 3 is quite popular amongst PC retro gamers because it has a lot of things going for it. However, it also has a few weaknesses that everyone should be aware of. The 3DFX Voodoo 3 range of graphics cards launched around April 1999. At the same time of the launch, Nvidia had their River TNT cards on the market. However, in the same month as the Voodoo 3 launched, Nvidia also launched their River TNT 2. Because a graphics card review makes more sense when you have another card to compare it with, I will be comparing the Voodoo 3 mostly against Nvidia's River TNT 2. Before the Voodoo 3, 3DFX was a chipmaker supplying their graphics chips to board partners that looked after production, distribution and sales of graphics cards. However, 3DFX then acquired STB Systems, a well-established board partner, and the Voodoo 3 line was the first product manufactured by the combined STB Systems and 3DFX. This came quite as a shock to 3DFX's previous board partners such as Diamond or Creative, who quickly partnered up with Nvidia and released cards with Nvidia's River TNT and TNT2 chips. Nvidia certainly wasn't complaining and took them in with open arms. The 3DFX Voodoo 3 comes in three flavors. There's the Voodoo 3 2000 clocked at 143 MHz, then we've got the Voodoo 3 3000 clocked at 166 MHz, and finally at the high end, the Voodoo 3 3500, which is clocked at 183 MHz. All cards were available in the AGB interface. Back in the day, a must-have feature, especially in terms of marketing. The Voodoo 3 2000 and 3000 was also available as a PCI version. The top-end 3500, however, was only available in the AGP form factor. The cards were available with TV tuners, especially the Voodoo 3 3500 came with a substantial breakout box, which is required to attach to the monitor, something to watch out for when buying this card second-hand. The Voodoo 3 3500 cards that I have is a special non-TV tuner version produced for Compaq. It doesn't come with a breakout box and connects directly into the monitor, just like the Voodoo 3 2000 and 3000. Despite having an AGP interface, the Voodoo 3 actually did not support any AGP features such as AGP texturing support, and likely used the AGP interface more because of marketing reasons. AGP was something you simply had to have, as otherwise you gave the impression of being behind the times, regardless of the fact that the PCI versions performed basically at the same level as the Voodoo 3 AGP counterparts. Voodoo 3 cards require the older 3.3V AGP interface and will not work in newer motherboards with an AGP 4X or 8X slot. Suitable motherboards are usually from the Pentium 2 and Pentium 3 era, although there are a few newer motherboards with non-Intel universal AGP chipsets that do support faster processors such as the AMD Athlon or Pentium 4. My tests, however, showed that a Pentium 3 at around 1 GHz is easily sufficient to drive the Voodoo 3 cards to their fullest potential. All three cards come with 16 MB of SD-RAM video memory. The clock speed of the GPU and the memory cannot be adjusted independently, like with the TNT2. That means that overclockers could run into a memory clock limit before reaching the full potential of the GPU. I will talk a little bit more about overclocking later in this video. The Voodoo 3 has an excellent image quality, a highly clocked random access memory, digital to analog converter, clocked at 300 MHz on the Voodoo 3 2000 and 350 MHz on the Voodoo 3 3000 and 3500, as well as high quality circuitry resulted in an image quality right up there with the reference set by Matrox graphics cards. Because 3DFX and STB Systems produced all the Voodoo 3 graphics cards, there is no variation in output quality like you often found with the TNT and TNT2 cards. Simply put, the Voodoo 3 produces a fantastic image, be it in DOS, Glide, Direct3D or OpenGL games. Another highlight of the Voodoo 3 is the fantastic 128-bit 2D core, which can operate in 16, 24 and 32-bit color mode and offers amazing performance. Quite the accomplishment, considering that 3dfx had little experience in creating 2D cores and went up against really well-established competitors. When it comes to 3D games, the Voodoo 3 supports Glide, Direct 3D as well as OpenGL. 3dfx decided to focus on performance, and so the Voodoo 3 only supports 16-bit colors in 3D games. This became a highly discussed topic and a reason for a lot of controversy. The Voodoo 3 had a 2x2 box filter, which 3dfx claimed resulted in a 22-bit equivalent image. However, screenshot software at the time could not capture the image as it appeared on the monitor, merely capturing a 16-bit image before the 2x2 box filter was applied. When it comes to displaying games that only support 16-bit color mode, the 2x2 box filter comes in very handy, resulting in an improved image quality compared to other cards. However, 32-bit color support was a feature that gamers looked for in regards to future-proofing themselves. But at the time, the performance impact was quite dramatic. So you had to make a choice by trading off performance against quality. While with NVIDIA you could make this choice yourself, 3dfx made this choice for you by only supporting 16-bit colors in 3D games. Here we have some image comparisons with the 2x2 box filter in action. Depending on the game, it does work very well, but it has its limitations, as you can see in Quake 3 Arena, a game that you really want to enjoy with 32-bit colors. Another weakness of the 3dfx Voodoo 3 is that it does not support high-resolution textures like the TNT or TNT2. The Voodoo 3 is limited to a texture resolution of 256 by 256 pixels. The TNT, on the other hand, supported textures of up to 1024 by 1024 pixels, and the TNT2 went even further and supported a texture resolution of up to 2048 by 2048 pixels. Apart from these weaknesses, the Voodoo 3 performed very well, trading blows with the TNT2 depending on what game you benchmark. Towards the end of the video, I will go over 50 or so benchmark results, but keep in mind that these results are from a very fast Pentium 4 machine. Comparing it to the Voodoo 2, the Voodoo 3 performs roughly on the level of 2 Voodoo 2 cards in SLI configuration, but does so with a single card instead of having to use 3. Still, many Voodoo 2 SLI owners were disappointed with the Voodoo 3 and its performance, a testament to how powerful the Voodoo 2 actually was, especially in SLI. Supporting the proprietary Glide API, the Voodoo 3 had an edge in games that supported it. Backwards compatibility with older Glide games is quite good, although some games will not work on the Voodoo 3. The Voodoo 3 also supports true trilinear filtering, whereas the competition from NVIDIA only supported trilinear approximation. Compatibility with games is excellent. 3dfx was highly regarded with gamers, and game developers made sure that their games ran well on 3dfx Voodoo cards. Having tried out the Voodoo 3 as well as the TN2 with a wide range of games, I found that you will have less issues with the Voodoo 3 what compatibility is concerned. The Voodoo 3 also supports 8-bit palletized textures and table fog. 8-bit palletized textures are important for older games such as Final Fantasy VII. It's worth mentioning that the TNT and TNT2 do not support 8-bit palletized textures. Basically, if you're looking for a card that just works, you can't do much better than going with a Voodoo 3. The latest official driver for the Voodoo 3 is version 1.07.00. However, there are also a few third-party drivers like Amiga Merlin or X3DFX. You can get these drivers directly from my website or from places such as Falconfly or the Vogons driver archive. I will put links down in the description. The Voodoo 3 is known to run quite hot. It is cooled passively, and I highly recommend decent airflow when using a Voodoo 3. Mounting a fan onto the Voodoo 3 is a popular mod. If you're interested in my own video guide for mounting an 80mm fan, please check the video link in the description. 3dfx provided an official overclocking utility. Just run it and it will unlock features in the graphics driver. Not only will it let you overclock your Voodoo 3, but it also provides full control over VSync. By default, the Voodoo 3 has VSync enabled. This does eliminate tearing, but you want to disable it for benchmarking or when you're looking for maximum performance. I'm not much into overclocking, but gave it a shot with my Voodoo 3 3500 and got the frequency up to 205 MHz compared to the stock 183 MHz. At 210 MHz, all the benchmarks completed, but some image artifacts would appear. Here's a little chart that shows you what impact overclocking has. Because the Voodoo 3 did not implement any AGP features, it is a great card to use with chipsets that are known for poor AGP compatibility, like VIA and ALI SuperSocket 7 chipsets. Therefore, the Voodoo 3 is a very popular card to use when building a SuperSocket 7 retro gaming PC. And there you have it. The Voodoo 3 has a lot of things going for it. Excellent image quality, great performance, fantastic compatibility with games, 8-bit palletized texture support as well as table fog, compatible with Glide, Direct 3D and OpenGL games. It's got a 2x2 boxed filter which improves the image quality with 16-bit color games, true trilinear filtering, and it works very well with flaky AGB chipsets like those found on SuperSocket 7 boards. However, it is not a perfect card, it does run quite hot, and I do recommend that you modify some cooling, and compared with the competition, they had an edge by supporting 32-bit colors in 3D mode as well as high resolution textures. And that's it for this video. Next up are 50 or so slides with all the updated benchmark results of my Windows 98 SE graphics benchmarks project. Down in the description are also all the relevant links for the video. Please subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends via Facebook, Twitter, Google+, or Reddit, hit that like button, and if you've got any comments or questions, just leave them down below. I'm always eager to hear from you.